So most of you mentioned that you needed one or two recommendations from your professors. So recommendations do play a very important part. So how should one approach the professors, and how should one decide what how should one just approach a professor for getting letter of recommendations? I'll start with Kashmi ma'am this time.
Yeah, sure. For the letters of recommendation, I would say that it has to be someone who has worked with you in some way, right? Because only then they will be able to testify your caliber. So it can either be someone at your university who has taught you 2 to 3 courses, or someone who has directly supervised you in a research project. Um, as far as contacting them is concerned, I would say that obviously mailing them the first thing would be the best. But then if it is someone in your university itself, you can also try to directly, talk to them in their office hours, and then explain them your, because one-on-one conversation plays a huge role, right? Like that way you will be able to easily convince them, I would say. So even if, like, personally, from my experience, my second recommender for my research internships, he, like, the professor was, I don't think he knew me from the classes that I took under him. But then when I contacted him with my transcripts and everything, and then I said that I really enjoyed his subjects and I actually wanted to work in his subjects itself, and then I showed him his my grades and everything, and then I basically contacted him in person, right, the first thing. So he agreed to it, because obviously, like, and one thing that I would like to put out, just, up front, that Indian professors, I'm not very sure about Indian professors, but that is what I experienced. Indian professors might ask you to write your letters yourself, and then they'll only sign it. So that's another thing. You might have to write 2 or 3 letters of praising yourself in different styles of writing. So yeah. And yeah, if there is someone who you have worked with in the past, like, I would say some months prior, then you can actually mail them very properly, and you can remind them of your work and whatever project that you did. And then you can say that you have worked on this and this after your collaboration. You have worked on this, and you are looking for a letter of recommendation, and you're trying to apply to these places. And again, as I mentioned, that uh, giving 1 or 2 lines of why you are applying to that place really helps, because that shows that you really want it. So I when I contacted my professors for recommendations, I just said, because it had been some time since I worked with them, so I mentioned everything that I've done since then, and I attached my CV and everything. And I also mentioned that applying to this particular scholarship would really help me achieve this in the future. And yeah, all of that. And always, like, even as we mentioned in the last question, always, like, give an open option of communicating in some other way. So don't just write that I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. You can, especially for LOR part, I would say that you have to meet them in person or on a Zoom call one time, right? Because that sets up a personal, I would say, engagement, and that is really required in writing a letter of recommendation, because they have to actually mention what all qualities you have, not only as a researcher but also as a person, also as a collaborator, as a team worker, right? So always tell them that you're open to talking on a video call, or talking, or coming to the university and talking to them, and explaining what you are trying to work on, or explaining why do you want this scholarship, and they might ask you some questions about the same. So yeah, I guess, mailing them would be the first thing with all your reasons, and then always being open to meeting them in person would be the second thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. If Gargi ma'am could go next.
Yeah, so very nicely covered, Kashvi. And um, so for all of you in third year, if you, for all these internship applications, I think a maximum of 3 recommenders would be needed by you, not more than that. And I would say, so let me take you through the hierarchy. Number one, contact every prof that you have done a project with. So in my case, I also had an internship after my second summer at TIFR in Mumbai. So I made sure that I have all recommenders agreeing to recommend me from my projects. Now, if you have, say, 2 profs who are doing projects, then reach out to profs, as Kashvi said, whose courses you have attended and you have a good grade, and you'd like to um, take recommendation from them, then sell yourself to them, saying that I'm a good student, I'm applying for this scholarship, your recommendation will be helpful, and so on and so forth. And third, like if you really don't have any other option, you can even email profs like the HOD of the CS department there, who can really, who may be willing to help you out, but generally people somehow manage to find 2 to 3 recommenders like this, so it should not be an issue. And I've so many of my juniors have been sending me queries regarding these internships, that I need to write a letter of recommendation. What, can you please send me a format? Can you share the file with me? So I see. First of all, I myself did not have to stress too much about it, because I did it only one time. But I would say that if you want to do that, check out MyTax website, which lists instructions for recommenders to write their letters. So they have very detailed bullet points, like your student lies in how much percentage of your top students that they can write, then what all projects has he done with. So they have a set of these points. You send those to the prof and you use them to draft your own letter. So what I did was, I plain and simple mentioned those facts, that I have done this, and I let the prof compliment me later on. So I couldn't write too many bells and jingles for myself. And so whenever you're writing a format, remember a layout on the internet, there'll be some random resources, but go to these DARD or MyTax portals and check out their instructions for recommenders. There are very, very clear instructions for recommenders as to what should be mentioned in the letter, and I feel that's a very good starting point. And I would suggest that don't reach out to seniors for asking for formats, because it has to be personalized, and that just biases you, and you tend to write like that. And even profs will be like, they don't want to see repeats of, though it's unlikely, but they just don't want to see it. So I would say go to these portals and pick up on the instructions. It will be like 1,000 times easier for you to write it on your own. And you need not compliment yourself like she's a very enthusiastic and good student. Let it be that the prof can add later on, as they want to. And in fact, my prof, I had sent him my resume, so always send your resume along. And I was surprised later on when I got to know he had written that Gargi is also a very good classical singer, and she's very active on campus. And I'm like, I never even mentioned it to you. So they do add things on their own if you give them the basic need. So yeah, I think that should help.
And
Thank you,
also,
ma'am.
like, and also don't ask for our statements of purposes and personal statements, please. Like, don't say that. If we are comfortable, please check. If please, can we share our statements? Because, like, even if we are trying to be very, very, very kind, this is not possible, right? This has to be, for A, this is not going to help you, and B, we're not comfortable. Straight up. Like, I don't think anyone would be willing to share a personal statement, or even statement of purpose for that matter, because it's like you've put in too much of work in that, and you just want the admission committee to read it.
And I think it's not even beneficial for the receiving end. Like, it's going to bias the writing, and either they're going to be too depressed about themselves, or they're going to be like, oh, this is easy, I can get in. But your SOP does not determine the bar, right? It does not set the bar for.
Okay, Ayushi ma'am, if you could go next and add some points to this.
So I think like those are pretty well covered, but in my institute, it's typically that if we work for at least 1 year maybe, or like have done a semester project or like a semester work with them, only then will they actually consider writing for you. Otherwise, the worst case comes is when you like you don't have any professor, like you don't have. So it's very difficult to work for 3 years and then with three professors. So it then becomes a little difficult to approach to a new professor with whom you didn't work, but it's an okay like similar category of doing. So what I learned from like my friends was like I generally approach professors with whom I have worked. So otherwise, with like my friends who actually couldn't work and still they needed the third LOR, I would say like two, three things work. One is that okay, you have to be a top in their class and maybe have done 2 to 3 maximum courses with them, and maybe you have to show what your aim is, and maybe just from your side you just write uh, like I'm applying to this place for such and such role, and this like what I'll get from it is this and this, like I'll be able to apply for masters after this, and so I would need this, like I would appreciate your help on this and stuff. And then yeah, attaching your resume so that doing so that professor can also help like view those hints and write on his own. So I mean, for a professor who you don't know, like who like the professor doesn't know you, so you may have to clearly specify your aim and your interest where you have to apply and all that stuff. So I think I just know about it like this much.
Yeah, I'd like to
About
add to another thought of mine, which students could consider in case they're not getting profs. Many students of my friends have approached faculty from other departments like the bio department and the physics
Yeah.
department for because there's a lot of interdisciplinary projects happening, and especially in computational biology, they're modeling those proteins. And even in the physics department, I was in touch with the prof very closely on a reading project. So I feel that don't hesitate to reach out to profs from other departments if you feel you have some basic connection with them through a course
Exactly.
or through
It
some
has to
reading.
be. Yeah, yeah. So, I think that is.
Thank you, ma'am. If Mansi ma'am would like to add something to these.
I think all of them have summarized, but if I had to add something, so I had so I had 4 recommenders, and one important thing to determine is whether you're going to get a strong LOR from that person or not. And and you can determine that by the reaction when you ask for an LOR. So the first step is, how do you ask for a LOR? So you just mention that I'm applying to graduate school and these are the following universities I want to apply to, and I feel I've learned a lot under your expertise, and a recommendation letter from yours will help my application. That's it. And if the professor replies, for example, oh, I'll be delighted to, oh, I'm happy to do so, then you're good to go. That is that the professor is happy with your work and he or she will give you a strong recommender. I'll give an example of someone who's not very happy with your work, taking my personal example. So I asked this professor in person, and he said that fine, I'll write you a letter of recommendation, but I'll only give you a letter of recommendation for 3 to 4 universities. So that's where you know it's not going to be a strong LOR. So you need to be, and even though he had a better designation, he had better credentials, it's always better to go for a person who's going to write you a strong LOR. Another point would be to, if you have like a very good friend, ask him or her to rephrase the letter of recommendation you've written. So I had like 3 recommenders, and all 3 had different ways of writing an LOR. The CME professor just wanted a summary of my contributions, my resume, and that's it. I didn't even see the LOR that was submitted. He did everything on his own because that's the culture out there. For my Midas, professor asked me the abstract of my papers, my resume, my contributions, and then he drafted the email. He sent it to me. He does not typically send it to students, but because professor and I share a very strong bond, he shared it with me, and he said that if you feel something's off, you can let me know, and I can tune it for you. Like, I did not personally touch the LOR, but he made some modifications if I felt it was not okay. For the third professor, I had to actually go ahead and write the letter of recommendation myself. He was only going to fact check it and sign it back. Now here I asked my friend to actually rephrase every sentence that I wrote for my LOR, because no matter how much you try, your SOP and your LOR will eventually look similar if you're the only writer. So it's great to have someone who can, rephrase the sentences for you. That will help you out. Another thing would be to, so I know this is very difficult, but at my time in CMU, they suggested to keep the LORs personalized for yourself and personalized for the university. So typically people ask the professor to just write one letter of recommendation, which they upload to every university, right? Because that's the easier way. But if you could ask the professor to make it a little bit more personalized for the university, it's great. A simple a modification could be just writing the name of the university and the program you're applying to, which shows that the professor actually invested some time for you for that particular application. So a little bit of modifications help. And secondly, always try to choose professors who know you well. You don't need to go for a professor who's like great HOD hai ya kuch hai. Choose someone who knows you. Even if the person writes some flaws about you in the LOR, but eventually the LOR looks like you are a strong candidate and the professor knew you. So for example, the professor writes, she couldn't finish this in time, but she did so and so, which actually led to better results. So this shows that the professor knew what you were going through, what you were doing, and he knew you personally. So this helps a lot. So keep that in mind. And to end up with a personal LOR, you need to have a strong bond with your professor. So attend meetings, participate in lab meetings, even though it's not related to your project. Participate in lab meetings, take extra initiatives. I'm not asking you to butter up the teachers because professors are very smart. I'm not asking you to do that, but participate in things, do good work, and that's going to land you up in good places.
Just one last point.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I think that many students ask me whether a letter from a postdoc would be as impactful, or whether they should directly contact a professor even if they haven't worked like that closely. But as everyone else mentioned, the simple answer would be to go with the person who would actually write you an excellent letter and a personalized letter. If the postdoc person has worked with you like directly, and they have seen you grow as a researcher, and they can actually attest to the fact that you were at this particular stage when the project began, but you grew in such a short time, and you learned all of these things, and you learned these softwares and codes and everything, and you were dedicated to apply more and learn more. So I think that letter would help you more than just oh, this student is a dedicated student in my team and I really liked his work, right? So I guess Gargi.
Yeah, and just one last thing, that many students have reached out to me saying that we are hesitating to reach out to them. They're like, will you write one record? So just know that it's their duty to write letters for you. You're not asking them for some favor, and they are not doing ihsan on you. It's their duty to write letters for you. So don't hesitate, like just reach out to them confidently. And most of the times I have not seen any professor not willing to write, in my opinion, like if you know them well, that is. So just don't hesitate, like it's their duty as well.
I think the worst that can happen is that you have to write the letter, and like it's not that bad. I had to write 2 of my letters in my graduate applications, and as Mansi said, that you have to obviously rephrase it because everything ends up looking the same. But then the worst that can happen is a professor, if you have worked with him personally, they will ask you to write the letter and they'll just assign it. But I think that should work.
Okay, ma'am, so that was really helpful. So